Welcome back to another Lash with me. Today, we are bringing a simplistic, beginner-friendly hybrid lash set to life. And the best part about this tutorial is that this hybrid lash mapping is gonna go with you throughout your entire career. It's easy, but it looks good on everyone. So if you find mapping overwhelming and you want a hybrid lash map that can suit most people, this is the tutorial for you. I'm gonna try my best to give you as much detail in this video as I possibly can. So I'm gonna really break it down, take my time with this one, and we are gonna master this style together. Okay, let's start with pre-service cleanse. I cannot stress to you how important starting with a pre-service cleanse is. I'm not even just talking to get the oils and dirt and debris off the natural lashes. People get caught up on that. They're like, well, doesn't the primer do that? Yes, it does. For me, of course, it's important to keep the natural lashes clean, but even more importantly, I am wanting to freshly clean the under and upper eye all the way to the eyebrow. The reason why is because if I can get rid of any oils from the skin and from the upper eye area directly before the appointment. I'm not talking get your client to do this at home. You want to get rid of everything right before the appointment because that's going to help the eye pads stick so much nicer. So if you're someone who finds that the eye pads slip around during the service, just cleanse and double rinse before the service. It's going to help you so much. My eye pads do not slip ever since I started cleansing and just putting a little tape under the eyes. I'm going to do this here in a second. And you are not going to worry about your eye pads slipping at all unless you're using a really poor quality eye pads. Okay, when I first started lashing, I was like, why would I spend money on eye pads? Like, can I not just get those in the cheapest method possible? Like, can I get them on Amazon? Like, can I just get these suckers as cheap as possible? I did not realize, okay, I was saving money, yes, but I was wasting so much time in my services. And what I realized later is that I also was struggling to isolate, I was struggling to place the lashes, and it was all because I had these horrifically bad eye pads that were moving around, or they were too thick, or they didn't have enough stickiness to them, they were poor quality, and it was affecting my entire service. So I highly recommend if you're struggling with lashing or you don't have good retention or you don't have good isolation and you don't know why, try better eye pads. Believe it or not, it's the little things like this that make a huge difference to your lashing experience. Okay, moving on to priming. So instead of using a traditional lash primer like Band-Aid or any other primer, I'm actually opting to use Superbonder at the beginning and the end of the service today. So traditionally it's only used at the end of the service, but here's the cool part about it is that it's such a multi-purpose product. So when used at the end of the service, it locks in glue fumes, it has instant curing property, and it also helps with retention. So that's amazing. But when used at the beginning of the service, it also acts like a primer, but I wouldn't suggest taking it over for every single client. If your client has oily natural lashes, definitely still prime, but you can also super bond, which is cool. And what it does, so it kind of ruffles up the cuticle, just like a primer does, right? It creates a more textured textured feel on the natural lash, which allows the glue to not just sit on the exterior of the hair shaft, but actually like penetrate into it and grab inside of the hair shaft, which is amazing. And because it has curing properties as well, you get a magnetic like connection. You ever hear in the industry when people are like, oh, it just connected so well? It was magnetic. That's what they're talking about. Okay, so let's get into the mapping. So right now, I'm about to dive into layer number 1, which is the top layer. So for a hybrid lash mapping, we want to do 50% of the lashes in classic lashes, and we want to do 50% of the lashes in volume lashes of some sort. Now, you can use pre-mades, handmades, any diameters, any curls, anything. It's still going to classify as hybrid lashes. So to keep it extra simple today, I'm going to show you the easiest layering technique. I'm going to pull out the top layer and I'm going to lash that first with classic lashes. So I know that 50% of my sets been done with classic lashes. And the nice thing about classics is that they kind of create this like wispy effect, which is really popular in the lash industry right now. So all I've done is sandwiched all the natural lashes down with an iPad. Make sure it goes really close to the skin because you don't want it to be too far away. You will lose the contrast between the white iPads and the darker natural lashes. So after that, I used my tweezer. I pulled out all the lashes, just the top layer. Just go back and really watch that closely if you would like to. But when I use this technique, I'm able to see just the top layer. I don't have to worry about a whole bunch of layers when I'm isolating. The lashes have almost isolated themselves for me, which is amazing and helps me so much with speed and also making sure I'm not sticking any lashes to one another or anything. So across the top layer, I'm working with 0.15 diameter classic lashes. This is a universal lash that you can work with. It works weight-wise, health-wise, on pretty much every natural lash. Unless someone has super weak natural lashes, then I would opt for 0.12 diameter classic lashes. But my client has totally normal natural lashes, so 0.15s will do great. And the nice thing is that everyone has them in their kit for the most part. It's the most universally used lash for a reason because most people can handle it and it also creates just enough impact. Now, curl-wise, I'm working with CC curl. Why? Because it's, again, a universal lash curl. So if in doubt, and you're working with classic lashes, grab 0.15 diameter and grab CC curl. Most clients will look great in both of these lashes. So 0.15 CC curl, if in doubt, just go for it. Same with the mapping. If you go back to the mapping that I used today, I used a squirrel eye mapping. So it's kind of like a mock cat eye. It creates this really natural type of effect. It's not something that's going to look bad with any eye shape at all. And then lengthwise, we're going to work from 7 to 12 and a couple 13 millimeter lengths. If in doubt, 7 to 12 millimeters, just use those. Again, no one is going to be offended by 7 to 12 millimeter lengths. If you go any longer, it could get a little dramatic for some people, but the nice thing is we can always add length. It's a lot harder to take it away. Let's pause on the mapping here for just a moment because there's something I really want to talk about, and that is that there's a difference in lengths on the top and the bottom layer. You'll notice that my top layer lengths are 2 millimeters longer than my bottom layer length. This is just for adding wispiness. 1 to 2 millimeter jump between layers really does add a nice amount of natural wispiness. So it's a great option, but it is not necessary. If you blend all these lengths together within your section, you're going to end up with an absolutely beautiful result as well. With that out of the way, let's move on to our bottom lash layer. I'm using our center gel pads and I'm gripping the lash extensions that I've already placed at about the halfway point up the lash and pulling them up toward the eyelid. Now, if you notice any bottom layer lashes popping out, just take a little piece of tape, cover them up, no big deal. Don't have to move the iPads or anything. We just want to have a nice contrast once we start pulling those bottom layer lashes out, which is exactly what I'm going to use here. I'm just turning my tweezer sideways. Don't point in toward the client. Just turn sideways so that we don't accidentally poke our clients. And just gently pull out any of the natural lashes that look like they don't have an extension connected to them. Product-wise, on the bottom lash layer, I'm opting for long stem pre-made fans. These are 3D. If in doubt, or if you're starting with pre-made fans, just grab a tray of long stem 3D pre-mades. They're applied exactly like a classic lash and everyone's natural lashes can handle it. Now, if you looked back at my mapping, you'll notice that I put 5D on there as well. I did mix some 5Ds in, but quite honestly, guys, if you're gonna have only one on hand, just grab 3D. It's a no-brainer. You're going to use it on almost all your clients. Even when you're doing really dramatic sets, I always mix these in on the weaker natural lashes because, again, everyone can handle them and they are so easy to work with. I'd like to take one quick moment to talk about lash isolation. Notice how my tweezers are closed and they're just pushing lashes to the side. I use this all the time. I notice when I train students, they think they have to use this technique here, where either side of the tweezer head is surrounding that one natural lash. That is not always necessary. In fact, sometimes when I use this technique, the tweezer head will get in the way and prevent me from actually being able to place my extensions. Even if we look at this isolation here, you'll see that yes, I have isolated the natural lash, but my tweezer was tilted sideways, which allowed me to have access into the side, the right side for that example, of the natural lash. So you can really play around with your isolation. You don't have to be married to one technique or another. In fact, when lashing in layers like I'm doing today, sometimes I won't even use a tweezer at all because I can clearly see that each of the natural lashes are already perfectly isolated. So do what you got to do to make a nice clean placement. The most important thing is that the base is nice and flush with the natural lash, and you're placing 0.5 to 1 millimeter away from the skin. I'm just gonna let this video play for a minute so you can watch all the different ways that I isolate each individual natural lash, just to see the different methods that I use for isolation and placement. Alrighty, my set is basically finished. I completed the top layer and the bottom layer. Now it's time for me to use my inspection mirror and see what the set looks like. Is it clean? Are there any natural lashes that are unlashed, or do any of my lashes look messy? If so, now's the time to touch it up. I do this all the time. Sometimes I'll even get my clients to open their eyes up and I'm like, hey, something's looking funky here, and I'll remove lashes or put new ones on. Whatever you have to do. I call this my final check test. So I look at it as if it's finished, and then I just see visually what I need to do to perfect it. Often that means I need to fill a few more lashes in, which is exactly what I'm doing today. And I'm really just fine-tuning the set. This is what brings your set from good to great, I swear. I take the last 15 or 20 minutes to check everything and make sure it is perfect before sending my client home. Make sure that when you're doing this final check test, you always look to make sure the inner corner lashes have been covered. This is such a mistake I see so many people making. They just leave the inner corner lashes out because they're challenging or they're hard to reach. If you are struggling with the inner corners, let me know. I will happily send you a video. This is going to bring your set, again, from good to great. You need inner corner coverage. That's very important. Now that the set is looking nice and complete, it's time for me to finish it off. I always finish with Superbonder because it cures the lashes, which helps with retention, and it also locks in glue fumes, so my clients are less likely to have irritation or any sensitivities from the lash extensions. Superbonder takes about 2 minutes to cure, so I always finish with a fan and just let it sit for about 2 minutes while I'm removing the iPads and just kind of like cleaning up my station a little bit. And from there, the set is finished. Let's have a look. I need to hear what you think about this mapping in the comments below. If you liked today's video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We also post on all of our socials platforms every single day, so be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok as well. See you in the next one.